Hi, I'm Jack Canfield, and welcome back to another episode of Talking About Success. My next guest is Kalliope Barlis. She is a NLP expert, that's neuro-linguistic programming. We'll talk about that a little bit. She's also a phobia relief expert, dealing with helping people overcome phobias and fears that are blocking them from having the life they want. She's the author of a forthcoming book about releasing phobias and fears, and she's literally, we've got a wonderful story. You're fascinating, and what I want to say about you. You've helped thousands of people overcome fears and phobias and move on to really greatness in their life. So welcome to my show.
Thank you so much, Jack.
Glad
Pleasure
to have
to be
you
here.
Now, how did you get into NLP? Explain what that is real quickly, and then how did you get into it? Because most people have never heard of it.
NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is the study and use of successful behavior. And how did I get into it? It's a funny story. One day, I just decided I need to become a professional athlete. So I moved out west and met a man named Chuck Hogan. And he was a golf guru to a lot of the players who were playing golf professionally at the time. And he was using NLP for them to take their game to a higher level. And they did take it to a higher level. Now, when I met him, he didn't teach me anything about the mechanics of golf. He taught me how to think purposefully in order to perform better. And within 6 months, I had 6 holes in one. And within 2 years, and within 2 years, I started playing golf professionally.
Well, that's incredible. So you learned about NLP. You started applying it to your own life. You had this major breakthrough, and you wrote a book. I love this book. It's called Play Golf Better Faster, a classic guide to optimizing your performance and building your best fast. Building your best fast. Okay, good.
That's right.
Now, tell us a little about this book, and then we'll get into your NLP and talk about fears and phobias.
Well, because I achieved what I wanted to achieve with golf, I thought it would be of value for everyone to hear about it. Because too often, people who play golf will spend years, decades playing the game, yet they don't really improve. And so because I improved so dramatically, so quickly, I decided it would be of value for people to know about it. So I put it all in writing, how it is that they could actually practice so that they did play better. And when they do play, to only focus on the target and nothing about mechanics. Because the clearer that you see your target, the better your ability to actually get your ball there. And when I teach people to practice, every shot is a good shot. Because even if the shot isn't what it was that I desired, I would shrink it down and then build up what it is that I really wanted to happen. So that my brain only remembered a good shot. So I always had good resources.
That's very good. Okay, so if you want to improve your golf game, get this book. Now, let's talk about how you morphed from that to becoming an NLP expert, and then how does that relate to the phobia and fear work that you're doing now?
So while I was going from city to city, week after week after week, I decided it was time to change careers. And so I became a doctor of acupuncture and used NLP to communicate best with my patients. And now I'm doing only NLP and teaching people how to think more productively. And students that I've had have learned how to be better parents, how to be better spouses, how to be better workers, so that even though they don't love what they're doing, they can at least find better moments in each day. How to be better leaders, managers, how to be better at anything that they do. Because what I teach people is how to think successfully.
So you have a basic premise that most of what gets in our way of being effective at anything is we've got fears and phobias that are kind of conscious or unconscious, probably unconscious for a lot of people, that are getting in the way. And then how do you help people using NLP remove a fear or phobia? We talked before we came on camera about things like spiders and clowns and dogs and airplanes and drowning and heights and all that kind of stuff. Those are the big, fears that are full-blown phobias. But I would imagine in addition to that, there's just everyday kinds of things that are getting in the way of people.
I'll give you, for instance, there's a young adult who moved to New York City from Europe and was overwhelmed by the population, the character, the lifestyle. And when I taught him how to manage his mind better, he was then able to see, hear, and feel what it is that he would be like when he achieved what he came here for. And so within a couple of weeks, he closed a couple of deals, and also a long-lasting health concern had actually been released. There's probably the biggest, most dramatic responses to fears I hear about are the ones where parents are distracted from protecting their children. And someone I helped overcome their fear of clowns. And they saw a clown on a street corner, ran, but in the same breath left their child unattended in the middle of Times Square.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, you can imagine how horrified the parent was to do something like this. So when I taught them how to reverse the memory, where they saw everything move backwards, hear everything rewind to the very beginning, and blink it black and white very quickly, it actually, the thought pattern loses its charge, which means it's a neurological change instead of a psychological change.
So I put you on a spot here. My wife has a phobia of bugs, especially big ones like cockroaches and palmetto bugs and things. You know, they're cockroaches that fly in Florida. What would you do with her? How would you help her get rid of that?
Well, too often with a fear like that, when it's just one thing, most often that thing is huge inside someone's mind, and it's usually moving in closer to the person, which means that if we just take that huge picture and shrink it down to the size of a dime and blink it black and white very quickly, because the brain learns very quickly, so that once you change the structure of the thought, it actually changes the charge of the feeling.
So explain what it means to blink it black and white. I don't understand you yet.
Right. So basically it's just changing the structure of the thought, so that when you take it from a large picture into a small one and then blink it black and white until it's completely white, it's sort of metaphorical. You're shedding light on it.
Oh, that's interesting. So we're taking it from color to black and white to white, then it kind of like what dissolves?
That's right.
Very cool. Very cool. Obviously, some people have these fears from childhood. I imagine a lot of them start there. And so now someone's 50 years old, doesn't matter. We can go right back and handle that. We don't have to go back. We just change the thought.
We can just change the thought. It's that easy. And these skills were designed to be simple, effective, and easy, so that anyone from the taxi driver to the doctor to the astronaut can use them. Because what we do is change the structure, whether we're shrinking down the picture or rewinding it, so that everything moves backwards. And actually, when you do that, the thought pattern inside the brain, the neurosynaptic pathway, reverses, so that the neurons lose charge, which means it's less of a charge throughout the body, and they just feel different.
That's wild. I love it. I love it.
And it actually is the reason why it's so easy, and that each and every time, and I mean each and every time, if someone comes to me for a change, they're going to change.
Wow. Now, I know you do individual work. You just talked about that. Do you also speak? Do you do seminars? What else do you do? How do you bring this work into the world?
I do. I give seminars. I give in-house workshops at corporations. I give talks. I'm a keynote speaker in certain places. And you can hear all about it on my website at www.buildingyourbest.com.
Buildingyourbest.com.
Yes.
Great. And if you were, there are viewers out there and they're watching this and they've got a phobia or a fear that's blocking them, what piece of advice would you give them other than coming to your website? Anything, any final parting words to them?
That there is hope. That when you have the right skills to overcome your fears, you can overcome your fears to have greater freedom. Because there's something to remember, that there are only two fears that we're really born with, and that's the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling, which means that everything else is learned, and typically it's learned quickly, which means it can be released just as quickly. And when people change how they think, they change how they feel, which means they can then change how it is that they do things. And that's really the real message that I'm bringing across to people, so that they have greater freedom in their lives.
So listen, you don't have to live with fear or phobias any longer. Go to her website. Her forthcoming book will be listed there as well. And take your life to the next level. Live the life you deserve. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank you
today.
so much, Jack.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.